Hey guys, so as promised, we are doing sketchbook tours of my Inktobers of the last 3 years, which are all the Inktobers I've ever done. So we're just going to go through each one. I'm going to kind of talk about how I developed, why I chose certain things, and just you can really see how I change, how my approach changes, how I'm learning about what my limits are and what I can and can't do, and things like that as we progress through them. So fair warning, this first one's rough. it's real rough. And I did not finish the first 2 years at all. Not even close. Well, I got pretty close to the first one. So this is the first year. This one does not have any type of overarching theme. I hadn't quite figured out what I wanted to do with Inktober yet, but it doesn't take me long before I kind of figure out how I want to approach Inktober. Now, primarily I am a landscape artist. I generally just do acrylics and watercolors. And mainly I just do, I don't really do cartoons. I like cartoons. I've always enjoyed really cute stuff. I've liked Hello Kitty since I was a kid and things like that, but I'd never really gotten into it, so I haven't been a serious inker at any point. So I was really interested in getting into this to develop my inking skills a bit, which I still have work to do. Not gonna lie, I am getting better, but I've got a long way to go. So I liked doing this challenge, as something to do an everyday kind of thing, to try to sketch every day, but also to get better at inking in general and get better at doing simple things, like just less realistic, more cartoony, more kawaii subjects and ways of doing things. So we start with my first love, cats. So this is just ink with, these are, I think these are Ohuhu water-based markers. They're not ink-based. And I never used this particular sketchbook again because it did not take well to the kind of use I was putting it to. It's not really good multimedia. I think it's supposed to be multimedia. I don't know. Finding sketchbooks for Inktober is surprisingly difficult because it's 70, good lord, 31 days instead of 30, so it's hard to find a sketchbook that really works well with it. But I found some that I've been using, and they're pretty decent. So this is clearly a cat. This is actually basically my cat, my current cat. He's an American Shorthair orange tabby with white paws and a white tail tip, and he does have a little white bib. And I have him dreaming of catnip. That's supposed to be catnip. Oh, yeah, the prompt was dream. You can just sort of see it. It also takes me a while to figure out how to do the prompt, how to work that in, but I figured out eventually. And then spiders. I really like this drawing. I think it's very cute. I don't know why drawing spiders came so well to me, but I really think these are adorable. I should probably draw more spiders. I don't know. I just like this one. I think it's cute. I love the cute little spider. He brings you a fly. Well, she brings you a fly, clearly. And then there's this one. Again, no codified idea of what I'm actually doing. I'm just whatever I can think of. It takes a little while before I figure that out. But at least this one's all black and white, and I'm using more ink for it. Still not very good shading. The shading's terrible. This is supposed to be a rock, by the way. Not my greatest rock. And then we have another cat for Dodge. If you've had cats, this looks very familiar. And I don't think I did not erase all of this, did I? There's still some pencil in there. Oh my heavens. Our first indie kitty, who becomes a central character for all of my Inktobers. I just basically do indie kitty from here on out. I kind of figured out what I want to do. He becomes a character I start developing. Not very far. He's just a little cartoon character doing fun things. I like him because he's cute. He's a combination of my current cat, as you can see, the white bib, and an old cat that we had whose name actually was Indiana Jones, and he was an orange Persian as well. Well, he was also orange. He was a Persian. So it's kind of a combination of those two cats, with more of my current cat Pipper's coloring, but with Indie Kitty's name, with Indiana's name, so we used to call him Indy as well. So I have him doing all kinds of Indiana Jones-like things, like from Raiders of the Lost Ark, clearly. He looks at the golden fish. Boy, you can tell this is when I got my gel pens. Oh boy, because there are gel pens everywhere. And I'm getting better at, I suddenly realized, hey, why don't I incorporate the Inktober prompt into the picture? That'd be a good idea. So then I keep having other things with him, and this is drip. I'm doing better with some of the shading in this one. I really like that. I actually am proud of myself for getting that particular view of him so early on. I took more chances in this book, in this first year, than I did in the second year. And then this year I took even more chances with moving him around and having him do different views and different positions and different... There's a word for it. Poses. Poses is the word. Different views and positions and poses. That's also supposed to have been a rock. That was a mistake. So this one's clearly a spoof on Temple of Doom, which I like very much. I think all three of the original Indiana Joneses were great. I think Temple of Doom was awesome. I think it's a great palate cleanser. You got Nazis, and then cultists, and then Nazis again, instead of 3 whole movies of nothing but Nazis. I think that's boring. So there's that one again. Gel pen, just gel pen everywhere. I like this one a lot for 2 reasons. One is I'm putting him in a very different position than I originally... this is a very different position from the easier head-on or straight sideways look. I enjoy the perspective I was working with, and this is almost full-on what he looks like at this point. This is very close to his kind of codified character design. So it didn't take me long to figure out a character design that I liked. Again, this is very close to his current character design. I'm still working on dealing with these ears in that hat. The hat is pretty much set, but putting the ears in or on and through the hat is a whole thing. I don't know what I was doing with some of the shading in this, clearly. I don't, why is it this way? Why that, but the light's coming from this way. Man, I don't even know. I like the coins though. Again, I'm keeping it very simple. I'm not spending a ton of time on these. I mean, I say that, but this actually probably took me a lot longer than doing this exact composition now would probably take me, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. It probably took me an hour to do this in 2023. So. And then, I remember this when scaring your cat with cucumbers was a thing. Oh, that was fun. Because Indiana Jones is scared of snakes. So I have a pit full of cucumbers because Indy Kitty doesn't like cucumbers. None of our cats have ever been scared of cucumbers. We've tried it. They don't care about cucumbers. But I'm having him be scared of cucumbers because it's fun. There he is sleeping, which is very cute. Now this is even closer to what he looks like now. And then my mom would complain that he doesn't have his whip. So, what am I going to do? Oh, was this the year with... I think there was an eclipse during this year. Yeah, I think 2023 was an eclipse year. I know 2024 was. I think 2024 was. I know there was one year that we went when we were in Utah and we saw a partial eclipse because we were somewhat in the range of it and we got to see it. So I know this was an eclipse year, so I played with that for a little bit. That castle's okay. Notice he doesn't have a mouth yet. I haven't figured out the mouth part of things. This is where I finally get the tail, where I put the white tip on his tail. I didn't bother with the white feet. I mean, like I said, my current cat has the white chest, a white belly, and white end of his tail tip, and all 4 feet have white on them. But I felt that was too many elements, so I was trying to keep it a little simpler, so it's just a white bib and a white tail tip, and that's it, to keep it a little easier. Angel. Oh, this one's fun. Demon. He flings it off the table. And that's supposed to be his broken halo. Clearly did not yet know how to do movement. I work on that. So again, just very simple little things, putting him in different positions and stuff. Even his eyes don't make sense yet. I have them being solid, so I don't know why. This one's kind of cute. Oof, that one's rough. That one's rough on a couple of different fronts. I mean, he's got his whip, which is good. I don't know what's up with these. Like, these legs are way too small. This makes no sense. And you can see the chains through the whip. Okay, that was just a mess. Oh my gosh, that's the second time he's done that. Okay. You'll see that in a little bit. I like this one too. I like it because it's simple and it's a more cohesive look to it. I don't know how else to describe style. That's what I'm looking for. It's a more cohesive style, which I think is nice. And then, oh, I like this one too, where he's all upset about having to go through the water. That one's kind of cute. Remove before flight. Yay. Some of these I'm not quite sure what to do with the prompt, as you can tell. And this one did not get completely finished. Oh yeah, so this one was shallow. Was this one supposed to be dangerous? Because I feel like this one is more like remove. I guess this one's dangerous. Yeah. Oh, this is where I got the labels messed up. Okay, that makes more sense. Because this would be remove, and then this would be dangerous because he'd be going like over a catwalk with lasers, I guess. I'm not quite sure what I was thinking with this one, but hey, he's got his whip, and that was it. That's as far as I got. So clearly, I did not even finish. That's as far as I got in that year. So I got to what, 24 of them. So that wasn't too bad. I did fairly well. Did not finish. DNF. So then we go to the next year. And I got a lot better in this year. However, it shot me in the foot. So clearly, I have progressed as an artist between in 1 year. Clearly. No questions there. Downside is, because I've gotten better, I've gotten cocky, and now I'm doing too much. Each one of these is like way, way too much. So I burned out a lot faster on this one. I really like this one. I like the backpack. I like, clearly the coloring's better. The shading is better. Shadowing. The shading is better. Overall, it just looks better. I'm still working on his proportions. I'm still working on his proportions and stuff. But again, he's much more codified. This is much more standard for what I'm doing with his ears in the hat. Just overall, now he has green eyes instead of just one color. He has a mouth. Like, things have really, really changed and developed. He has his whip, of course. And I just did a lot more with watercolor. And this paper really holds up a lot better to watercolor than the first one did. This one I really like. I think this boot just kicks total butt. I really love this boot. It kicks ass. And again, I forgot his ears. Look at that. Just no ears. My cat has no ears. What? Whoops. Hey, those gel pens are coming back. But these are all watercolor. And some gel pen on top. And here's our first... My mom still thinks this one's so funny. She laughed so hard about this. Because the eyes are two different... two different size eyes. And I was trying to say look like this because I did the one and I'm like, yay, I need to make sure it's roughly the same size and shape and everything. So I traced it, but unfortunately I have one eye that's too big. So this eye is that eye and this eye is that eye. Oh, that still makes me laugh, clearly. So this is the first new, different character. And I actually really like the character design on this cat. I would like to bring this one back because I think she's very pretty. I really enjoy that. It's a pain in the butt to do because there's all this extra work to put in all of her stripes, but overall I think it worked out pretty well and I like it. Let me get to the binoculars. Clearly I made a mistake and I just left it. I mean, that's the thing with pen. You just kind of have to leave it and move on, and it's fine. It's not like this is a professional piece or anything. I enjoyed that one too. That one was fun to do. I'm still working on the watercolor part, and this is hot press paper, not cold press, so it's very different in how it handles watercolors. It's a lot more smooth, which is nice, but you don't get the texture in the colors that I like so much from cold press paper, and also it shows your mistakes a lot easier. Your mistakes come out really well. I like this one a lot. I was very pleased with this one. I thought this was really cool. It was very difficult to do. There was a lot of elements to it, but I think it came out really cool, and I just liked the idea, and I had a lot of fun doing it. This was particularly difficult because of the way it does the inverse. It was so annoying. But it's kind of cool. I enjoy that. What was the prompt for that one? Was it multipass? God, I do not remember what it was. Maybe it was pass. I don't remember. And I didn't, like, some of these I really have, like Clearly Trek and Binoculars and Exotic. Like, most of these are here. The problem is there's so many different words in this that it's hard to know exactly what it was. But I'm going to guess it was pass. There's no way it could be multi-pass. We got hike. I like this one a lot too. My rocks have definitely improved. I'm still working on rocks though. Rocks are rough. I like this one quite a bit. It's a nice simple landscape, and I think he comes out really nicely. This is one of the first times I really put an expression on his face, where I use his mouth as part of his expressions. I know, very simple things, but they're a big deal when you're working with them. We've got sun, which is also very basic, but cute. See, my actual cat would have white paws and a big white belly. But, oh well, and snacks. So these are box elder bugs, and we have them here, and we see them most times in, I think it's the spring. They cover the whole southern side of the house. Well, not cover it, but there's a lot of them because of the warmth, and they, come into the house and everything. And Pipper loves to eat them. He thinks they're delicious. We call them chocolate bugs because he eats them like little M&Ms. He just goes and beats them up and then yums them down. So I have Indie Kitty eating them. What I like particularly about this one is I like the dappled shade. I thought that turned out pretty well. Lots of other problems with it, but the dappled shade is nice. We have a remote, and I really like this because I did a great job with the landscape in this one in particular. He's a little off. Like, he's a little too long, so the proportions are a little off. But I really love the landscapey stuff in the background. I've been doing a lot of desert sketching at this point, so I liked how that came out. This one I also really love because Horizon Zero Dawn is one of my favorite video games. I love the Horizon series. I think it's a great franchise. I have a lot of fun with it. So when the prompt was Horizon, clearly Horizon Zero Dawn is what I'm going to go with. And I also like this effect. I think that actually is pretty cool. I think I did a decent job with getting that blue light effect on the environment. And of course, I also like, oh god, what are these things called? Watcher. I like the Watcher a lot too. I think that turned out pretty well, because I'm not someone who does mechs, so drawing a mech was really difficult. But I thought this one turned out really cool. I really love it. And then Rome. This one again I'm pretty proud of. I really love how this building came out. The Colosseum, of course. These trees could use work. Still have to do a lot of work with trees, and the perspective on this brick wall is absolutely atrocious. But this looks really good, and that is as far as I got in 2024, because clearly I burned myself out with way too much detail. I made these way too ornate, way too complex, and they just take way too much time to be able to do one of these every single day in October. It's difficult, especially since it is October. I know there's not a good time to do Inktober. October is clearly the correct month because of the name. Like, there is no other month for this to happen. However, it kind of sucks because October is always so busy. It is fall. I'm closing down the garden. I'm, stacking wood and picking up hoses and putting stuff away, and everything's in flux, and I'm, having to deal with a wood stove because by then it's cold enough that I'm going to have to do a burn at least once or twice a day. We use wood stove as our primary heat in the house when we're here. October is just a difficult month. It is like the very beginning of the holiday season, which is October, November, and December, where everybody's just busy, 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 busy. And then we're going to draw something every day. And it's not just like draw a simple sketch. It's do an art piece every day for 31 days. And it is rough. Every year it's difficult. So with the last 2 years, I did one every day. I started on October 1st, clearly stopped whenever I burned myself out. And then even though I had plans to go back and finish it up, I ended up not doing it. I'm always very excited to start Inktober, and I'm very excited for Inktober to be over every year because I'm tired by the time I get to the end of it. And I kind of get sick of doing the same things over and over and over again. So it's good in that it limits a certain part of your creativity, and it's kind of bad that it limits a certain part of your creativity. But so this year, if you didn't see my other video, I started this in September to try to give myself a little more time so that if I missed a day, it didn't completely throw everything out the window and just compound more and more art into the next day as I became further and further behind. So this one took a lot longer, and I did it a lot more simply. So we don't have any painting. There's very little color to it. I didn't even go back and fill in his eyes because I don't know why. I should have. And every time I clearly had to relearn how to do him because this isn't quite right. This is a little too blue. So this one's mustache, and it's supposed to be milk, and he's got a little milk mustache. Pretty simple and basic and easy, which is what I tried to keep this entire month. And then we have the classic cat underfoot, which is now the second time I've brought that motif in. But, I mean, it's an oldie and a goodie, and this is clearly way, way better. So, just in case you've forgotten in the last 5 minutes, which one is it? No. Dodge. Okay. So, this is, there we go, that's how to do it. So, this is the increase in skill and ability as I went from here to, so this is a very simple side on, whereas this one's a much more dynamic view of the pose. Like, I got feet and legs much better than this. Clearly he's much better than this cat, and the flow of the robe is much better. So clearly in 2 years I've gotten quite a bit better, and I've learned a lot of skills, which is another reason why Inktober and things like this are so powerful, is because you can really see your progress as you go. Like, sometimes you don't even know you're making progress. Like, from here to here, the only thing I really did that was like this was 2024. I don't normally do these things for the rest of the year. This is the only time of year that I do Indie Kitty. This is the only time of year where I do like this style of drawing. This is it. But even practicing my watercolors and my acrylics, those skills and the things that I learn and the abilities that I develop translate to other mediums that I work with. And doing this then translates to my watercolors and my acrylics as well. So doing art, no matter where you're doing it, when you're doing visual arts, they will help each other. Doing portraits will help you do landscapes. Doing landscapes will help you do portraits. Working in acrylics will help you with watercolors, and doing drawing and inking will help you with watercolors and acrylics and oils and whatever else you're doing. So that's another really powerful part of doing this, is seeing this kind of progress and having it help you as you go. But I thought this one was cute. I like the feet. I thought it was pretty cool. I like the unsteadiness, and I like that he's singing. He's like, doo-doo-doo. Such a happy cat. No shading. Clearly I did 0% shading. Some of these I do shading, some I don't. You can still see some of the pencil on this of what I was planning to do, and this is as far as I got with the inking. And unlike other years, I left it here. Sometimes I would come back and do stuff for some of these where I would, come back 3 days later or whatever and do some work on a couple of them. And sometimes I didn't. It just depended. So the prompt for this one is crown. So you can see I did this one 9/10. This one was done 9/7. I didn't quite start at the very beginning of September. I took a couple days. And this one was 9/2. Okay, this was second day in. So even here, I'm not doing it every single day. Clearly. But I like this one where there's a little pearl and he's chasing the pearls around. And you can see this is totally different from what I was doing before. In the first year or even the second year, there's a lot more detail. There's a lot more things going on. I'm bringing more perspective into it, more expressions. Clearly, I've really upped his expression game. And now I've added the bag. So now the standard is, oh, and I didn't put the strap on the other side. Bag and whip. Whenever it's applicable, bag and whip. I try to get that in every picture now. And his ears. I definitely try to get his ears in every time. So the prompt for this one was murky. As you can see, there's still a lot of pencil work here because I never completely finished this one with ink. And that's okay. I'm not going to get mad at myself for it. I'm going to have grace with myself. This is what I was able to do. And hey, I finished it, so that's what matters. And now we're very standardized with the chest poof I'm working on the chest poof a little bit. This was wrong. It shouldn't quite look like that. But at least I got chest poof, end of tail. Boom, done. This one was fun. I enjoyed this one. Doing the deer part was rough. But I like how I'm working on doing simplified vegetation, especially for urban sketching and a lot of my watercolor landscapes. I'm really trying to work on how to make the vegetation look more realistic and better, so I can do simple but clearly indicated vegetation. So I like how that came out quite a bit. And I like, see, he's got arch. His whole body posture is very different. It's a very different pose from the first 2 years where I kept his poses more rigid and less organic, less adventurous. So clearly this last year I did a lot more work on this, and I've gotten quite a bit better at it. See, I've got him jumping and stuff. I'm still working on his proportions. Head to body to tail length is still kind of fungible and changeable, and leg length is still, and I'm trying to figure out exactly how to form the legs, and still working on some stuff. Oh, excuse you. It's my cat sneezing. Still working on some stuff, but it's a lot of fun. So this is Pierce, and these are little arrows coming out of the wall, as happens in Indiana Jones. And this is probably my favorite of this year entirely. I really enjoy this one. I just nailed the style on this one so hard. Everything's very uniformly styled. I love the perspective here. Could use a little more shading, not gonna lie. I love the details I got in the water, looks really nice. And then starfish, which I also love. So from now on, that is what his butthole is going to look like for the rest of time. Every cat is now going to have a starfish. Before I was doing just an X, but now they're all starfish. That makes me laugh. And this is actually like pointing right at it. Hey, starfish. And I like, this, I just really like this one. I think it's a good composition. I really enjoyed doing this one. I thought it was cool. He does not have his whip in his bag because you are not allowed to bring your whip and your bag into the aquarium. That's why that's that way. You have Reckless. Oh, and you can also see I'm using 2 different types of pens. Like this one, I'm using this pen. So the lines are a lot thicker. And it just depended on how I was feeling and what I had available at the time. Sometimes I would use this one because there's not a lot of detail work in this. There's nothing really all that small, so this one works pretty well. With this one, because he's a little bit smaller and I'm trying to do the whip and stuff, I used this pen. So these 2 different pens kind of go back and forth on this, and sometimes I'll use them both in one. So that's why the lines on this are so much smaller. So this one was a lot of fun. I was trying to work on movement in this, and this isn't quite right. Like, I've got the branch and it kind of goes down, from him leaping off of it, because that's how physics works. It's not quite right, but I'm working on it. So that's a new fun thing. Bag, whip, yay! And yeah, this is and this is a totally different pose than I've ever had him in before. Again, I'm really pushing those things. This one would really benefit from some shadows, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be great. I really should have done some more work on the shadows and some more hatching, but I just ran out of time and I did not come back to it. And this, I'm worried, like, his ears are in a different position. I had never done that before. Again, the movement, not great. But the overall idea, I'm getting better at simplifying things and conveying these things in a more cartoonish, simplistic way, which there's nothing wrong with those things. I'm totally fine with it. I envy it. I am trying to learn how to do it. Then there's Sweep, another very simple one. This didn't take long to do, and I still didn't come back into it. Some days I was just so busy. I should really come back and do some more with this because I like this, because of course he's an archaeology kitty. So he's using his tail as a broom to sweep dust off of something so he can read it. This one I like a lot too. Again, a very dynamic pose. We've got a lot of movement. We've got him in a different position, and I've also changed his hat. So here we've got actual holes where his ears come through, which I never had before. So that's kind of nice. I got to be able to do the toe beans. Well, for him it's bubblegum toes because they're definitely pink. And I worked on simple renditions of the foliage in the background, which I really like, and is something I'm going to have to remember how to do and continue to do. And look at that rock. That actually looks like a rock. Holy rock, Batman. A rock. I do a lot of rocks and landscapes, and I suck at it so bad. So I'm very happy about this. No whip, though, because you can't... It's not that he doesn't have it, it's just you can't see it because it's behind him. So, yeah, no whip. It's behind him. And then we've got this one, which again is very similar to one I did in the first year. I didn't realize that until I went through the first year and I went, that's the same thing. So Again, just a different position. Him elongated, which was very interesting to try because that made his arms longer. And clearly I messed this up because these do not line up. I just noticed that. Whoops. And this was very interesting to do because of how I kind of had to adjust it for the turn. So we've got, these are a little bit wider than these because clearly if it's faced this way and this way, it would be a little more narrow. So, and the way the river flows is a little bit different, and the angle of things to give it that illusion of turning. I mean, it's not like super obvious, but that's something I had to really think about with this one, which was fun. So I enjoyed trying to combine those two things, and I've got his bag codified now with the little patch on the flap for his lacrosse body, and again, starfish. And then Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Clearly, this is supposed to be a plate. This is in the background of that scene. I swear to you it is. These, actually, all of these are from the actual movie. This isn't. This is not what the background, this is not what they look like when they're sitting on them, but I took artistic license. So he's drinking out of the correct one. Definitely screwed this up. This isn't looking right. The way his body and head are separated, that's not right. So, oops, his body should definitely be closer. So, my bad. But I'm getting better. Things are, again, I'm taking chances. Like, this is an interesting 3/4 turn for his, or 3/4 pose, which I hadn't really done before. I'm working on the leg issue here, trying to figure out how I want to do the back legs. The hat is always tricky, especially as you turn it and rotate it, like with him tilting his head down. It's at a different angle, and I have to figure out how to do it. So I'm working on that. This one I think turned out really nicely. It's very simple. The shading adds a ton to it. Clearly I had the time. I had a little bit more time in this one. But it's a simple concept. He's just getting picked up by the trunk of an elephant, and the prompt is trunk. And there's his whip because the elephant picked him up and he dropped it. Again, more expressive in the face, some more shadowing, some nice contouring with the shadows to give the trunk a more three-dimensional look. So I like that one a lot. I thought that one turned out pretty well. Ragged, clearly, whatever tomb or dungeon he was in this time was rough. His tail is singed. His hat is ripped up and crumpled. He's exhausted. It was just rough. And again, this really shows how important the shadows are in all of these. And again, I didn't always have a chance to do shadows, but I tried to. When I had the chance, I would add shadows, and it just makes such a difference in the overall feel and depth of it, which is kind of cool. And then I go to this one, which has absolutely no shadows and desperately, desperately needs shadows because this doesn't read well as an edge without the shadows here. So at some point, I really need to go back and add the shadows in. So this is a blunder. He almost falls off the edge of a cliff here and down into the thing. And yeah, I didn't put his whip in this time. He should have a little handle popping up, but I don't. But I got the bag, so the bag matters. And again, I'm really playing with the ears, his expressions, quite a lot of expressions. I'm getting better with the back leg and figure out how I want to do the back leg. There's a lot going on. This one really uses shadow. I really like how it uses the shadows. It kind of falls apart here. The prompt is ornate, and this is supposed to be an ornately decorated little trinket or box that he's going to get, but then I lose it when I did the shadows for it because I didn't do the shadows as well as I should have. But this part is really kind of cool. I like how that turned out. I like that quite a bit. Again, missing his whip. I guess I could poke it in there, but oh well. And there's Deal, a very simple one, just something simple and easy because it was just one of those days. I actually had to come back and add all the stripes on the chips. They were just circles before. It was one of those days I just didn't have a lot of time. And we're into October, as you can see. So at this point, I think I've codified it to trying to do 4 of these a week. Sunday, Mondays are generally out. So it would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then I had Saturday to pick up. So I was trying to do 4 a week, which worked out pretty well. This is probably the best as far as shadows go. This one's very, very dramatic. I really went hardcore on those shadows, went all out. It started when I did these mountains and I went, uh-oh, now I have to do him because it doesn't make any sense. He's wearing ski goggles. I don't really know how to do ski goggles very well. Clearly, they don't read very well, but that's why his eyes are open like that and not like squinted, is because they're in ski goggles, so they're protected. Other than that, there is not a bit of his fur exposed to winter in the Arctic because it's cold, except for his tail. But the tip has a little poof on it to keep the tip of his tail warm. So he's got a little tail mitten. He's wearing little boots. He's got a little hat. He's got a little scarf. That was really fun to do. Trying to depict the fluffiness of things was very interesting, and then shade it, which was a nightmare. I think it's okay, but I could probably do better. And then we have the introduction of a second cat in this one. That is Kitten Croft, a takeoff on Laura Croft. And she was very tricky to do because I had to try to figure out how to indicate who she was in cat form, because I am not giving her giant... I'm not going to Lola Bunny her. I'm not going to give her giant boobs. So I had to try to figure out what aspects of her character design I could put on a cat to indicate what she was. So she's got her little fingerless gloves. I cannot do guns, so please forgive me. That's a holster with something in it. We're not quite sure what at this stage. She's got her shirt, her little tank top, and then she's got her bag. And her eye color is different. So most of these are colored just because she doesn't read very well in black and white, but she does when she's colored. So that's why she's colored. And I'm working a bit on movement. So now I'm adding movement lines to it, some blurring. This is wrong. It should be the same as this one. Like the lines should be this way, but they're not. I did them it just didn't work. So I screwed some of it up, but hey, he's got his whip. This one's Blast. I don't know, he tripped something in a temple or a cave or something and just about blew himself up, which was fun. Again, I'm having a lot of fun with his expressions, just like here where I really try to work on expressions more. The ears are trying to be more expressive. I'm doing more with his face and his mouth. Clearly his mouth is hanging open there. Same goes for here. Oh, I need to add more of that because that would be better if I made it clear that he is clicking it multiple times. There. So the idea here is this is a trap. So the prompt is button. This is a trap. But he's a cat, so he's way lower than the trap, clearly. So he's just having fun turning it on and off by clicking the button. He's got his bag. He's got his whip. The tiniest bit of whip end. And again, I'm doing a lot more with the expressions on his face. I've got his ears perked, and I've got his mouth open in a happy expression, in theory. Another very simple one. This isn't the greatest movement. I should have done it jaggedly so that it had that, movement to it. Like, these are better. The wings are better, but So the prompt was fireflies. There's a firefly on his nose. This is very simple. Whip, bag, boom. This is much closer to the final idea for his chest bib. So that one came out to him. We've got Rowdy. He does not like Kitten Croft. He is upset about Kitten Croft. See, my current cat hates other cats. He is an only cat. He's always been an only cat. He gets really upset about other cats. So I had Indie Kitty also just hate other cats. Better gun and holster. Not perfect. A little bit better. It goes downhill again from here. I always love, because she's, a Laura Croft analogy, I love the little smirk that she always has. And then we have Inferno, because my cat does the exact same thing. He's basically underneath the wood stove when it's on because he loves the heat. So I had Indie Kitty underneath the wood stove. So. Then we've got Puzzle, where Indie Kitty and Kitten Croft have to work together to open. And this is much better. I got some decent movement here on the tail. He's still a bit miffed about having to deal with her. She's still smirking. Starfish. I enjoy that. This one's very simple. I'm not like the happiest about it. It was particularly difficult to do, to try to scrunch his face up appropriately. I don't know that it reads very well. But I do like his expressive face. So, you win some, you lose some. I love this one. I need shadows desperately. Like, shadows are so necessary for this one, and I just have not gotten to it. But I like this one a lot. I like his expression. I love his ears. I love how his tails are. I like his crunched hat. I love how I just love everything about that. I think it looks really nice. I'm really happy with this one. Like I said, it really, the skeleton could use a little work, but it reads as a skeleton. I just love that he did something and a skeleton fell on top of him. Oops. And of course the prompt is skeletal. And we have this one, which now he and Kittencroft are working together, which is nice. That's always good to see. And I'm losing battery power. Okay, now we have a battery in there. Yay! All right, so they're working together now because they both have, see, Indy Hindy has a plan to go get something. So he's telling her the plan on how to raid this particular temple or grave or whatever they're getting themselves into. And he's excited about it. She seems interested in it. Once again with the smirk. See her little fingerless gloves. You can just see her halter, and you can see her shirt. And those are the straps for her bag, and I did not color them. Oops, my bad. Again, could use some shading. Could really use some shading. Clearly, I'm going to have to focus on that a lot more next year. If I do Inktober next year, I'm not quite sure. So that's the plan with this one. He's getting to know her better and is happier with her, and her nose isn't black, and it should be. And then we get to a two-parter. So we have the first one, because this is only 30 pages, so I have to double one of them up. So they get to the tomb, and it's empty. Somebody has already gotten to it before they got to it. This one's, again, very simple. It's really difficult because they're so small to get the details in. Both of their ears are irritated. I love the expressions on their faces. They're both upset about stuff. And I really, this, again, could really use some shading. I might have gone a little too hard in the movement of their tails here. It kind of looks like they have wings, which that was not intended. So I'm still working on movement. But clearly a lot better. It's just better than it has been in the last couple of years. And this is the final one. I did this very recently. I had the idea for it on the 31st and just never got around to actually drawing it. This is premature. I actually finished this yesterday. So that should read 11:13 is what that should read. In fact, why don't I just adjust that because that is incorrect. So this should be 13 because I wrote that way early. And again, very simple. I was just trying to get it finished yesterday. You can see there's a lot of line work that I just didn't do. There's a ton of shading that should be done. So this is supposed to be a weasel based on Benny from The Mummy. Now this is supposed to be his red hat. Clearly it's not painted. I didn't color it, but that's where I got the idea anyway. And then here's the chest that was stolen from this room up here. And that's the end of it. And that's their award. Reward would have been better, but I gave award because I couldn't really think, I don't want to put them on a podium getting an award. Ugh, that'd be the worst. And the reason I put this picture underneath this picture and not on the back of it is because over time the back of it kind of gets a little bit dirty and rubbed because of this. So I just didn't. I just put them together like this instead. So that is 2025, and you can see that is a big difference from what I was doing in 2023. It's just so much better. This is so much more, what's the word I'm looking for? This looks very stiff. This is very, very stiff and stilted, and this looks much more organic and dynamic as far as that goes. And it's still stiff, but it's better. Clearly I've spent a lot more time doing it, so they're just a lot better. His design is a little more uniform and understandable. Even the worst one, even some of the bad ones, look pretty good compared to my first year. I mean, you can see how this is close. There's a lot of similarities here, but there's just, everything's rounded, everything's more uniform in sizing. There's a little more detail on things. It's still very simple and clearly reads as the same character, but just a lot better. So that's how I've improved. Now, let's talk about Inktober as a whole, as a concept. Again, I like doing it. I think everybody should try it if they haven't. It's very difficult. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do it next year or not. I think what I want to try to do in 2026 is do Inktober 52, which means one prompt every week. Because A, I want to keep doing Indie Kitty. I want to keep working and developing him as a character. I want to keep in practice in drawing him. I also want to have more time to work on him, on each piece that I'm doing. And I just want to, because the problem is I want to develop him as a character, but then as soon as October's over and I'm done with Inktober, then I go on to doing all of the other art projects I want to do. I do some acrylics, I do some watercolors, I do some urban sketching, and I just don't make time for doing Indie Kitty or the cartoon cute stuff that I really want to develop. So I want to try to incorporate him more into regular art practice with doing Inktober 52. So I might not do Inktober in 2026. So I hope you enjoyed looking at all of my artwork from the crappiest to the not so bad. And I hope maybe you think about doing Inktober next year if you didn't do it this year, because it's a lot of fun.